Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Steven. Steven is from Virginia in the USA. So let's see what Steven has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hello.
Hello Steven, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the interview today. Thank you.
Of course. I've never done anything like this before, but I'm excited.
So tell me, how's your day been so far?
It's been pretty good so far. I started off my morning with the gym, came back, had breakfast, just been home since then, just waiting.
Amazing. And tell me, where are you from, Steven?
I'm living in Forest, Virginia, which is right next to Lynchburg, Virginia, which is known for Liberty University.
Oh, wow. And that's the place where you've been raised and grew up as well?
No, I've only been in Forest for 10 years. I was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Then I moved to Joplin, Missouri with my family. Up until for 10 years. And then we moved here 10 years ago and I've been here since.
I see. And why the change from there to there?
It was through my dad's job. He wasn't working as usual, or he had lost his job back in Missouri, but he found a job here in Forest.
I see. All right. So tell me, what do you do for a living?
A couple things. I work part-time at a local pizza place, as well as train to be a pro wrestler.
I was checking a little bit your profile regarding the wrestler. So tell me a little bit about your career, your passion about wrestling.
So I'd only been a fan for probably as long as I've lived here, 10 years. I randomly just flipped through the TV one night and then I saw a wrestling match, or more specifically, a match where it's 3 guys and then 1 woman. And something I remembered that night was one of the guys taking down the woman. The people were booing him, and then her tag team partner was yelling, "You can't do that. She's a woman." I don't know, just that, and just the whole performance aspect of it all kind of just mesmerized me, and I've been hooked since.
Wow. You know what? I had a professional wrestler on the show a few weeks ago. I don't know if you saw it, but I'll send the link of the interview. He's from Chicago, and he's been doing that for years and years, and it's just amazing. I was talking to him about that, and he was just telling me all about it, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. And coming up in August, I'll actually be 1 year into training.
Wow. But do you train every day or a few days a week? How does work your schedule?
So the way my school works is that they're only available for full days of trainings for both the trainers to be available on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So it would be 2 to 4 hours Wednesday and then 4 hours on Saturday. So it would be 2 times a week, but we've gotten a lot, and I can tell how much I've improved in that time.
I see. When you say about pro wrestler, what pro stands for?
Professional. As in
okay.
You get paid for it. I'm no expert when it comes to the amateur sports and amateur wrestling, so I don't know what that entails with the NCAA, and if you get paid for that, or if you're an Olympic wrestler.
I see. All right. I wasn't sure when I was checking. I was okay, let me double check with him just to make sure I understand.
Yeah, and the big difference with amateur and professional wrestling is obviously with professional wrestling being predetermined, but there's still that physical aspect to it.
I see.
So it's weird to call it professional wrestling, but it's just how it is. It's just been that way for a century now, and people accept it. Kind of
amazing. Okay, Steven. So before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, tell me something interesting about yourself.
Okay. I am actually one of 3 people in my family who are type 1 diabetic, which, like, if you know anything about the type 1 diabetes, it's a very rare thing for like 3 people in the same family to have it.
Wow. So tell me, when did you find out about that? Early age, very young age, or?
So I was actually the second person in my family to be diagnosed. I have a younger sister who is 4 years younger than me. She was diagnosed at 4 years old. And like at the time, my parents kind of had to learn everything they can about it because it's a brand new thing.
Mhm.
But as I was like 12 approaching 13, they saw similar symptoms in that, which included like drinking a lot of fluids and thus using the bathroom a lot. And I had lost 12 pounds within a certain amount of time. So my parents recognized that. They tested my blood sugar and were like, okay, let's take you to the emergency room to check and be sure. And once you believe it, I also had type 1 diabetes.
Oh, wow. And do you like per day, do you have like a special treatment every single day, or how does it work, the treatment?
Yeah. So with type 1 diabetes, the it happens because the pancreas shuts down, and amongst other things, you're not able to produce like insulin naturally to keep your your glucose levels in check. So for that to treat it, I would have to take several injections of insulin a day just to make sure I'm healthy.
Oh, wow. And that's something that you're going to live for the rest of your life, or there kind of improvement of the treatments?
It's something I'll have to live with for the rest of my life until a cure is found.
Mm-hmm. I see. All right. Thanks for sharing that personal thing about your life. Thanks so much for that.
No problem.
Steven, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Sure.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Full of random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to get a bit in the mood before the first question. Ready?
Okay. All right.
Let's do it. Okay, Steven, before we start the game, through the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? It's all very friendly.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
First question for you is, if someone come up to you to offering to tell your future, would you accept it or not, and why?
I wouldn't accept it.
Tell me why.
The reason would be I'm someone who, like, at times I'm very guilty of worrying a lot about my future. So and I'm someone who would rather just like live in the present and like whatever happens happens.
Right. And let's say, and the same person come up to you with an envelope, yeah, with your death date inside of it. Would you open it or not?
No, I wouldn't. I'd rather not live my life like knowing like that there's a time and place where it all could end. Like I'd rather just go through life knowing that it could go at any time, and then when it happens, it happens.
Absolutely. Good one. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Steven, next question for you is, talking about future, tell me what scares you the most about your future?
Not being able to provide for myself, for my loved ones, I guess. It's like, I don't know. Just, I'm someone who wants to be sure that like I am okay, that my loved ones are okay, whether it's my family or my girlfriend. like I want us to be like okay, not feel anxious about feeding ourselves or like making sure we're taken care of.
I see. And you're saying that you mentioned before that you have one sister.
Yes. Or
You
I
have
have two sisters.
two sisters.
Yep, two sisters and two brothers.
Oh my God, that's a big family.
Yep, 1 of 5 kids.
You are the youngest, the oldest, the middle.
I am the second oldest.
Wow. Wow, amazing. How old is the oldest one and how old is the youngest one?
My older brother is 2 years older than me, so he's 26. My younger brother is 10 years younger than me, so he'll turn 14 in a couple months.
My God, my God, my God. And you guys all live together?
My brother's been out of the house living with his friend like since the fall. A lot of us have gone in and out through college, and some of us have stayed.
I see. Very good. Big family, my goodness, amazing. Next question, let's do it. Right, before the next question, tell me, what do you enjoy the most about wrestling? What's the most joy part of it? And of course, there's always a challenging part as well. What that would be?
I would say it's learning more about something I've already loved, like I've loved for a long time. Like I've like throughout my time in training, talking to my trainers, my colleagues, and other people I've ran into, a lot of them are surprised with like my almost encyclopedic knowledge, despite it being spotty with certain subjects. But like there's always new learning, like whether it has to do with the actual performance of it, or if it's something involving history or like a little trivia thing. Like there's always just something new to learn, and that's really fun figuring it all out.
And the flip side of it, the challenging part, in your opinion, what that would be?
It would be like, and everyone that I've worked with would can atone to this. It's and like it's not exclusive to wrestling. It's kind of for everything that you're learning that's new, and it's being bad at something at first, because it can be discouraging, especially with something as physical and mentally taxing as that.
I see. Yes, I think when you watch those wrestling, like presentation, or when you are doing it, my goodness, you must have a lot of pain around your body for sure, with the training and all the whole performance.
Absolutely. Like, and we're being told that like we're doing things that like the body is trying to tell us to not do. Like we're intentionally trying to land on our backs and get hurt, essentially. But like with anything that's physical, like you build those calluses and you build that muscle memory when you do things right, it's not as painful, or like you get used to it.
Yeah, I think one point your body gets used to it as well, when you kind of manage the pain or the uncomfortable things that's happening around.
Yeah, absolutely. It also helps that like I've worked out for a few years, and like I've got a fairly good like back to take these hits.
Good for you. Next question for you is, which book had a big influence on you?
I mean, you can kind of tie this into any other media it's part of, but like when I started getting into comics a few years ago, there was in the middle of a storyline with Spider-Man, who is my favorite superhero. And one of the big part about like why he's one of my favorites and why I think he's one of the best is like he's very relatable, and he's like got that constant fighting spirit to never get up and to keep fighting and to keep trying until like you finally do it. There's one where it's a big battle, and like he's being pushed to his limits, and no matter how much he's being put, like how much he's being beaten down or he's pushing himself, he's always trying to make sure that he can win the day to protect people.
Yes, I think all those superheroes, they always left a big impact in our lives. You know what I mean? As a child, as a teenager, I remember reading those books, comic books as well. And I was like, oh my God, I want to be strong like that. I want to have this mindset of, you know, a way of approaching life.
Yeah, and like, it's weird kind of looking at that because going back to what I said, Spider-Man being the most relatable one, which is very strange to say because you would think superheroes are the least relatable people within a media.
Yeah, sure. Ready for another question?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, Stephen from Virginia. Next question is, describe yourself in one positive word and one negative word only.
For one positive word, I would say grounded. One negative word, I would say stubborn.
Stubborn could be a positive thing as well.
I guess. Depends on the context.
Totally. And if I would ask your girlfriend to define you in one positive word, one negative word, would be the same?
Okay, no. If she's describing me, maybe that. Like I'd say maybe she would say the same thing that I'd said about me.
I see. All right. And how long you've been together for?
We've been together since September of last year.
Wow. And so far, what's the most beautiful lesson you've learned from her so far?
I would say it's to love myself and give myself like courtesy and grace. Because a lot of times I could be down on myself. But like she's that great reminder of like I need to give myself some love, even if I mess up at times.
Very good. Good one. Next question. Let's do it. Next question for you is, what is your funniest memory of your time at school?
Funniest memory from my time at school? There'd be a lot of like funny times. One in particular, I would say, because like I was just talking about this a couple of days ago, was in my sophomore year of high school, which was my 10th grade year. We were in English class and we were told, like, we were actually in the middle of reading Othello. And so we were told to split into groups and then create some sort of modern rendition of Othello. We made one that took place in a college frat party called Brothello, and I can just remember the opening lines from it of like, wow, there's some fine looking women in here, and then the other guy said, enough talk, let's blaze it. And I just think it's so ridiculous but so funny.
Did you like school, Stephen?
I liked school because like it's like, while at times it can be a chore, like just meddling through the day, just having to deal with stuff that you don't care about. There are some times that like you learn something that you can either find interesting or helpful, as well as just connecting with friends like outside of the home.
I see. All right.
Like it has its negatives and positives.
Yes, I totally understand. I think we have good memories, but at the same time as well, we had some challenging moments for sure during that time.
Yeah.
For sure. Next question. Let's do it. Stephen, before the next question, when you think about North Carolina, the place where you've been raised and born, what's the best memory that comes to your mind?
Well, I would say just almost anything involving my grandparents, because my dad was actually born and raised in North Carolina. So, and that's where like his sister and her family are still living. So I always just have like good memories of them and my grandparents when they were still around.
Oh, and do you, since you left, have you been back there to visit your family or not anymore?
Uh, not as not as much, other than like for the funeral of our grandfather, because he has my dad's sister. It's the only sibling he's had. She's only had two kids. They're both in college. We have people who are in college, and like we're doing our own thing.
See. All right. Next question for you is, what bad habits do you wish you could stop?
There are times where like I can get back into like eating more sweets than I need to, because I have a horrible sweet tooth. And there may be days where like I may divulge into it a little too much.
And yes, I'm the same as well. One of my very guilty pleasure is sweets, cakes, chocolates, any kind of sweets. I'm very tempted. Anything particular that you like the most?
Yeah, also chocolates as well as like cookies.
And I guess with the diabetes things, you need to control very much.
Well, I mean, with sweets, it's kind of like eating everything else, because like it's type 1 diabetes. Like it's not the diabetes that's caused by like bad eating habits or poor diets.
I see. All right. Ready for another one?
Yep.
Let's do it. Next question. Next question for you is, how would your best friend describe yourself?
Quiet.
Really?
Yes, I'm a massive introvert, and it's really hard to like open up and be talkative at first meeting, or like until we get comfortable or get to know each other more.
Wow. And you always had this way of being yourself, your personality, kind of private?
Yeah, I've always been shy and quiet, like growing up.
So I can consider myself very lucky one that you accept my invitation for the show.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a lot more open or outgoing as I've grown up and as I've gotten more opportunities within wrestling, because I meet a ton of people. But like, I'm still very introverted. Like I keep to myself a lot.
I see. And do you think doing the wrestling, it kind of build up your confidence and you kind of open up more about being around people?
A little, because with being an introvert, being around a bunch of people you don't know could be overwhelming. But like the culture kind of encourages everyone to get to know each other.
Yes, absolutely. Next question. Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me, since you see about Virginia, about the state itself, what's the biggest difference between Virginia and North Carolina, in your opinion?
I would say there might be more sensible like drivers when it comes to traffic in North Carolina. Because throughout my time as a licensed driver, there's a lot of people who are much more carefree in Virginia. And like they're more than willing to break speed limits, I think.
Wow. When you go to North Carolina, it's much more calmer. People there are more aware driving.
I think so, yeah.
Wow, interesting. Next question for you is, would you ever get a tattoo? What that would be?
I actually do have a tattoo. Like you can't see it, but it's on my left rib cage right around here. But I would definitely want to get more, and I do want to get more at some point soon.
So tell me a little bit about this tattoo. What's the meaning of it, and how old were you when you had it?
For this tattoo, it is my grandmother's initials. It's a tattoo that I've always wanted to get ever since her passing a few years ago. And like, it's a symbolic but also somewhat real way to keep her close.
Oh, it's amazing, very sweet. And Steven, when, as you mentioned again about your grandparents, how much you're very close to them. When you think about your grandparents, what's the best memories or the biggest lesson or memory that comes to your mind that you're always gonna carry in your heart?
With my dad's parents, I would say it's especially my grandmother. Like before she was confined to a wheelchair, she was maybe the most energetic old lady you would have ever met. Like she was my best friend.
Wow.
Like she was perfect. She was kind of a perfect like grandmother to have when you're a little kid.
Wow, amazing, very good. Right, I have 3 questions left for you. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. But before the next question, tell me one of your performance as a wrestler. Tell me one of the ones that always is going to be special for you for some reason. One of your best wrestling performance, if you can share one of them, and why.
Maybe the most special one that like I can think of, or like that I think would be like, I think my first appearance in front of a crowd. There is a guy who comes out with like an Army Man character, and he has a segment where he wants to recruit someone for like a boot camp segment, and then I walk out along with another guy that I train with. We're doing our thing. They start beaming us up. We're getting sympathy because we're getting beat up. But then we start fighting back. We had this huge reaction. Like we were being told that like one of the other wrestlers or someone who was working for the company had to look out to the ring to see what the noise was coming from. And that gave me like a real great sense of pride as a wrestler.
Wow, amazing. Next question for you is, if you met someone sad in the street, yeah, what would be your advice or your approach to this person?
What would be my approach to someone who was sad?
Yeah, you find someone sad in the streets. What would be your advice or your approach?
My approach would just to be like, go up to them and just be genuine, just like, hey, what's up? What's something I can do to like make it better, make your situation like less bad? Like, what can I do to make you feel better?
Did that ever happen to you?
Not that I can think of.
No? All right. 2 questions left for you. Let's do it. But before the next question, in your opinion, what's the biggest misconception that people has from wrestlers or wrestling?
That it's fake.
Tell me why. Why people have this conception?
There's been a lot, like, there's a multitude of incidents that have led people to like get a peek behind the curtain and find out that like pro wrestling isn't as real as you'd think it is. But like, yeah, just because like professional wrestling is predetermined, it doesn't necessarily mean it's fake. Like we're still going out there, like we're actually hitting each other, we're actually like throwing each other around, we're actually getting hurt.
Yeah,
it's kind of like theater or like cinema, where but we do our own stunts and we're actually getting hurt.
Yeah. Cool. Next question for you is, tell us something. Oh, this one I already asked in the beginning. Tell me something interesting about yourself. You already talked about that. Okay, next question for you is, what is your all-time favorite band and why?
All-time favorite band. I'd say the first band that came to mind would be Breaking Benjamin, because like I'd only been somewhat into rock music ever since I was maybe 12, almost 13, because I grew up in a Christian family, so my youth group introduced me to Christian rock, but then as I got older, I started finding out more bands, different kinds of music, and they were like the first major band to really that I got really into, like outside of that bubble.
Very good. Ready for the last one? Last question?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Last question. I can see you like dancing, yeah?
a little. I've gotten a little more comfortable.
Before the last question, Steven, tell me, people watch the interview right now. They would like to start a career as a wrestler. They would like to try. What would be your best piece of advice for those people?
Be open-minded. Like, if you're serious if you're being serious and like wanting to pursue wrestling, like, or do something within wrestling for a career, like there's always something available for someone. If you feel like you're someone who can't handle the physical strain of wrestling or being involved, like there's always a role for everyone.
I see.
Like, yeah.
Cool. Last question for you is, look, I'm gonna take another one again about school. What's your favorite part about school? All the questions for you are coming repeating somehow for some reason. Okay, last question for you is, what is the most romantic thing someone has ever done for you?
I would say maybe when my girlfriend gave me my Valentine's Day gift. It was like a collage of picture. Like it had a frame that had like 4 different pictures. Two of them included like our first official date as a couple, and 2 of them had like pictures of like art done of us. And I just thought it was a very, very neat and sweet gift.
Oh, very sweet, beautiful. All right, it's not the end yet, okay? Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words, and you just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Okay.
Let's start. So,
I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game.
Let's start with money.
Strange.
Family.
Closeness.
How about love?
Complicated.
Can be. One word for life.
Strange.
Politics.
Two-faced.
Religion.
Also two-faced.
One word for fear.
Restrictive.
Friendship.
Hard to come by.
Desire.
Push.
Right? You can drink some water if you want. I can wait. Give you some water. You can drink. Actually, I'm going to drink some as well.
I didn't want to be rude and interrupt.
Not a problem. I can easily edit that. I'm going to make like a teaser video of us drinking water. All right, let's go back to the game. One word for regret.
Unfortunate.
Success.
Multi-leveled.
Wish.
Questionable.
Is an interesting one. One word for happiness.
Different.
One word for North Carolina.
Home.
One word for Virginia.
Also home.
Oh. How about USA?
Complicated.
And the last one now, wrestling. One word.
Art.
Art. Amazing, amazing. Okay, let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely girlfriend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, tell me the most beautiful thing about Steven, and tell me something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What she would say?
Very loving, I would say, maybe.
And what should say that you still need to work on, to improve on?
Communication.
Communication. It's always a thing, communication in a relationship. Right, let's play now. Steven and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Steven from Virginia, you can ask me a question now.
Okay. Other than what you do, like what you do for your channel, what is something that you're really proud of?
Wow, what, like about the channel?
Yeah, just like in life in life outside of your YouTube channel, what's something you're very proud of?
Oh, I see. Okay. Right, good question. I love the question, Steve. You put me in the spot now. Okay, I think, Steve, I'm gonna say I'm very proud of the way I've been raised, the way that my parents raised myself, as always being a person to go after my dreams, to never give up, and never, take a no as an answer. I think I've been very fortunate for my parents. I come from a very simple family. Yeah, I didn't have much as a child. I didn't have much, let's say, possibilities in life, opportunities. But I had very good parents. They were always there for me. So I think I'm very proud of the way I've been raised, because nowadays, when I look back, I think I'm proud of that, the way I've been raised, because I feel very strong as a person right now that I can follow my dreams. I can go after my dreams. I can live a life that I want to live, like being myself. So I think I'm very proud of that, because I think all of us, we have some family. For me, can be a very, let's say, difficult topic to talk about, because for me, it's always very emotional. Sometimes for me, it's very difficult because, we always see this perfect family where you have your parents around you all the time. They are there, but it's not for everyone. Like, for example, the way I've been raised, I never had my parents around me like all the time, like me. They were always working, but the way they raised me, I think always being, I think I'm so grateful for that, because it made me the person who I am today, and I feel very happy the way I am, and I wouldn't change anything. So I think I'm very proud of my childhood, the way I've been raised, for sure.
That's great to hear.
Amazing.
I'm glad that you had that support and upbringing.
Absolutely. I think it's I think I have this mindset of always, persevering in my dreams, because I grew up seeing my parents working all the time. Like my mom, she was working since a child. I remember we never sat down like in a table to eat all together, because as a child I didn't understand that, because my friends didn't have that, but I didn't. And for me, as a child, I don't understand much. But when I grew up, I understand that's because they were working all the time. They couldn't be with us like the other parents they were. And now I understand that it's just the way it is. And I think we should understand that and always be grateful for the way that it meant to be, I believe.
Yeah, that appreciation.
That appreciation, yes, absolutely.
That's like, yeah, the appreciation to like support you and your family.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's what counts, and I think we always need to be grateful for that, for sure. Steven, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the interview?
I did. It took me a little bit, but I did get comfortable as this went on.
Thanks so much. Thanks for taking the time as well. Thanks for being so open and talking about your passion about wrestling and about your memories in life. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
But before you go, if you can share a positive message or something that you live by.
It would be something that's actually by a wrestler who, for a time, he dealt with past problems with injuries. He had to retire for a couple of years, but then he came back. Something really like inspirational that he said when he came back was, fight for your dreams and your dreams will fight for you.
Wow, I love that. I think we should always go after that, and for sure the universe is gonna make its job and it's gonna help us to get there. But it starts with us. I think we need to go after it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We need to be the one who give the first step. Steve, in regards to your girlfriend, to your family, and you keep in touch, okay? It was a pleasure to have you on the show, okay? Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.